the highest organization for scientists and other experts in other disciplines. In the church, we have held several positions and made a lot of contribution. We serve as the Archdiocesan Laity Council Chairman, but I succeeded him as the Archdiocesan Laity Council Chairman. I'm sure you are beginning to guess who I'm talking about. He is the provincial chairman of the St. Vincent de Paul Society. And the last year, his achievements in the church were crowned with the Pastoral Award. So he's currently a member of the Order of St. Sylvester. I'm sure at this point you know that I'm talking about no other person than my old boss at the University for Development Studies, Sir Professor Gabriel Tay. The chairman, the audience of the chairman. He will tell us whether he wants a seat or not, so that I can warm up to take it.
Thank you, Professor Zolo. Your Grace, the Archbishop of Tamale, my Lord Bishops present. But when I came, I asked him whether he needs to introduce me. And he said maybe there are some people here who will not know me, so he will say something. And I warned him not to say so much, but he went ahead and said so many things. I will say that I accept to chair this council. The 18th Biennial Conference of TEPPCO, talking about the prospects and challenges of our apostolates as a church. I am told we started yesterday, and today is the opening ceremony. So I'll just ask that you support me to go through this opening ceremony. We listen to the speeches and pick those things that we need to discuss and how to continue to grow our church in this progress. Unfortunately, we keep cutting the cost through the primary organization, get the people baptized, then get the predatory churches coming to snatch them away. When we educate them, they become so educated, worthy to contribute to the church, then they are taken away to those churches, and then we go back to the primary. But I think that's our cross to carry. Let's continue carrying it. And a special welcome to Bishop Jeffrey from Sunyani. Today he's in my territory. You are welcome. So on this short note, I accept to chair the first for this morning. Thank you. So I want to go to the MCs to continue with the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for accepting to take over the mantle. We will now call upon our daddy, Most Reverend Philip Nakwe, Metropolitan Archbishop of Tamale, President of the Ghana Bishop Conference, and President of Teppcon, to give us a welcome.
Professor Chair, Most Reverend Matthew Jamfi, Bishop of the Diocese of Sunyani, my Lord Bishops of the Tamale Province, I address the Regional Minister, expecting that he will join us. We are also expecting the Regional Minister, Abayo's region, that is here. The representative of His Highness, the Overlord of Teppcon, my brother priest, religious men and women, our brothers and sisters of the Islamic faith, leaders of other churches, heads of departments, delegates from the Tamale province, the press, all invited guests, reps from the Archdiocese of Tamale, ladies and gentlemen. TEPPCO stands for Tamale Ecclesiastical Province Pastoral Conference. It is a joint institution of the 5 dioceses of the Tamale province. It is to coordinate similar and varied pastoral, socio-economic, and political concerns and activities of the 5 dioceses. These are Tamale, Navrongo Borgatanga, Wa, Damango, and Yendi. Politically, these are the 5 regions of the north. We have been used to referring to 3 regions of the north. Now, we are privileged to have 5 of them. Teppcon was initiated and established in 1977 by the servant of God, Peter Cardinal Poripundari, the then Archbishop of Tamale, together with Most Reverend Rudolph Akalu of Navrongo Borgatanga Diocese and Most Reverend Gregory Kimbaya of Wa Diocese, to function as an umbrella organization to coordinate, as I've already mentioned, similar pastoral and other activities. TEPPCO was established with the aim, among others, to foster a coordinated approach to pastoral care in the province, to promote a more unified and effective way of spreading the gospel of Christ, to suggest practical direction regarding pastoral and evangelical activities in the country, and to address other crucial issues affecting the people in the province. To achieve these aims, TEPPCO set up 10 commissions beside the executive committee to critically address and coordinate the major areas of pastoral, socio-economic, political, and development concerns of the people in the province. These commissions were Primary Evangelization Commission, Commission for the Formation of Catechists and other pastoral agents, the Laity Formation Commission, Sacraments Commission, later Sacraments and Liturgy, Youth Formation Commission, Justice and Peace Commission, Commission for the Promotion of the Dignity of Women, Education Commission, Teppcon Commission, and Interreligious Dialogue Commission. 4 years ago, the 10 commissions were merged into 5 because of funding challenges. As research bodies that do a lot of investigations and conduct baseline survey on critical issues that affect people in the province, it was difficult to maintain the 10 commissions. TEPPCO now has 5 commissions trying to do the work of the 10 commissions previously. These reconstituted commissions are as follows: Justice and Peace, Interreligious Dialogue, and the Promotion of the Dignity of Women Commission. Very large. Then we have the Laity and Youth Commission. Then we have the Primary Evangelization, Sacraments and Liturgy Commission. The fourth one is the ongoing formation of priests, religious, and catechists. And the last one is Education and TEPPCO Commission. Professor Chair, I would like to recall the theme for the last conference, which we held in 2017 in Bolgatanga. It is the care for the environment and sustainable development, a common responsibility. This is meant to be fresh in our minds because it is a theme that we do not exhaust, or we cannot have a new topic and forget about. The environment remains a major concern. The issue of land degradation is a critical one, and I wish to encourage us as a church, individuals and communities, to initiate strategies that will help to protect Mother Earth. As citizens, as a church, individuals and communities, we have to learn to value what nature offers us. This begins with preserving what we have. We can use the power and moral courage and peaceful protest to stop our rosewood, our shea trees, and others from being extracted by powerful economic interests, which has serious implications for us as a people. We can always try to plant trees around our schools, churches, mosques, houses, health institutions, and other places. Let us stop the droppings and burnings and small-scale mining. Let us show concrete steps to protect Mother Earth in our little ways. As I mentioned, we have sufficiently in our last conference debated about these things, but just to call it into memory. The theme for this year's conference is Prospects and Challenges of the Catholic Church Today. Prospects and Challenges of the Catholic Church Today. The need for renewed missionary discipleship and catechetical formation. On behalf of my Lord Bishops and the lay people of the Tamale Province, I wish once again to congratulate the missionaries of Africa for bringing the faith to Africa 150 years ago, which anniversary we celebrated a few weeks ago. I welcome with great joy the one to address us on this, our theme for the conference. He has been welcomed already, the Most Reverend Matthew Jamfi of Sudan. We definitely cannot take more time of this address, because it is for him we have gathered, so to say. We shall launch the Teppcon website and the Teppcon Civic Education Training Manual at the end of this ceremony. And I will encourage all to visit the website regularly to know more about our province and to read the manual to understand better our focus in the governance projects. I would like to use this opportunity to acknowledge the support of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung in our civic education and justice and peace programs. On behalf of the 10 bishops, I wish to welcome the Regional Honorable Regional Minister, our guest of honor, the Regional Minister of the Upper East Region, if he's still to come, Most Reverend Matthew Jamfi, Bishop of Sunyani. I welcome also the 10 bishops. I welcome the representative of His Highness, the Overlord of Dagon, as I welcome all heads of departments, priests and religious, the press, commission chairpersons, delegates from the dioceses. I also welcome the Christian Council, our brothers and sisters of the Islamic faith in the religious dialogue, and all invited guests to this official opening ceremony. May God bless you in our encounter with our faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Grace. We'll now have a musical interlude by the woman with the choir.
Please put your phones and clap hands for the Ola Youth Thank you. We are looking for a key that has something very important for this program. Please look around you. If you find any street key, even look at your own key. Probably you took our key and thought it was yours. You need to pick something from a car and we can't find the key, so please look around. And if you find it, please give it to us. Permit me to quickly acknowledge the Teppcon chairman, Mr. Alfred Ndago. Mr. Alfred, if you are around, would like to. Yes, with a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us and for the good work you've been doing. Your vice chairman is also here, Father Camilo Bonsu. Father Camilo is here with us. Thank you very much. Please, let's clap hands. It is free of charge to clap your hands. You don't have to pay. So just clap, clap, clap. Sir Knight, he is here. It's on the high table already, but we'll be acknowledging Sir Knight Kwashi. Thank you very much. The program will be complete without our youth. So the former TASIC chairman, Mr. Bernard Alandu, that want to acknowledge your presence. I hope you handed over. Archbishop is here. You are way above 30, so I'm sure you have handed over. Okay. Samuel Abochi, I saw you also around. You're also above 30, so hand over quickly. And our very dynamic youth chaplain, very Reverend Father Gerard Siena. Thank you for holding the new fort. I want to continue with the program. At this moment, I'd like to ask that we remain very silent. We put our phones away for a moment because that is the main reason why we are gathered this morning. To listen and pay attention to the most Reverend Matthew J. Bishop of Tsunami, to deliver the keynotes address. There's a lot to learn. So with a round of applause, we welcome. Sir, Professor in the chair, most Reverend Vietnam Archbishop, Metropolitan Archbishop of Tamale, and President of Teppcon, Your Excellencies, Bishops of Teppcon, Reverend Fathers, Reverend Sisters, and Reverend Brothers, my dearly faithful, representative of other Christian denominations, representatives of the Islamic faith, invited guests, and my dear brothers and sisters. It is a big honor upon me, and I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to share my thoughts with you on the theme, Challenges prospects of the Catholic Church today, the need for renewed missionary discipleship and catechetical formation. I would like to congratulate Teppcon as they have their 18th Biennial Congress. Congratulations. In my province, which is the Kumasi province, we don't have any such formal congress. And I'm learning from, we are going to encourage my metropolitan to introduce something like we do here. My delivery may be a little bit long, but it's going to be on these lines. First, the current global challenges and prospects of the Catholic Church. Then challenges of the Western values to the Catholic Church. In the church in Ghana and its challenges and prospects. Then I will touch briefly on inculturation of evangelization, or if you like, the evangelization of inculturation. Then the youth and challenges of the new religious movements. And then sum up with a few suggestions. I would like to say what I share with you is not that theological, but my experiences as a priest for so many years, and as a bishop for only a few years. What have I seen? What have I experienced? What am I thinking about as I carry out my duties as a priest and as a bishop? What have I seen? What have I experienced? What am I thinking on the topic that you have given me? So first, the current global challenges. So the history of the Catholic Church begins with Jesus and his teachings. It is a continuation of the early Christian community established by the disciples of Jesus. With Jesus Christ as a founder and source, the life and history of the Catholic Church are by no means different from the life and ministry of Jesus. Jesus had joyful and difficult moments. He said to his disciples, "A servant is not greater than his master." He calls on us to take up our crosses and follow him. The life and ministry of the church, therefore, is not and will not be different from the life and ministry of Jesus Christ, the head. As it is expected, the church has never been spared of challenges, which she has also always taken advantage of to advance her mission. She has always renewed her missionary discipleship and catechetical formation as responses to challenges that come her way. The challenges facing the universal church today are formidable. Some of them shameful. Currently, the Catholic Church is the most mocked, attacked, and wounded religious institution by the media and other bodies. Included in their reasons for the derision and mockery are pain-free,
the clergy sexual abuses. The church's stand on LGBTQ. The church's stand on abortion and other moral and ethical issues. Elsewhere, Catholics are killed and tortured because of their faith. In Europe, Catholics and Christians are leaving the church in droves. In the midst of all these challenges, the church continues to preach the message of peace, of love, and solidarity. She dialogues even with her persecutors. She is aware that she has a charge to proclaim and live the good news of love of God and neighbor in season and out of season. These challenges, particularly declaring sexual abuse, may be foreign, but it's a challenge to seminary formators. Open your eyes. For these things that seem far away are very close, more than we think. And even though they are far away, they affect us. For it is the one priesthood, whether it's in Europe or Asia or where, it is the Catholic priest. To open your eyes, formators and catechists, that committee, please, committee of formation, the seminary and catechists, let us open our eyes. Aside these current challenges of the universal church, each continent and each country has her peculiar challenges. The African Synod, Ecclesia in Africa, broadly grouped the challenges of the church in Africa under evangelization, enculturation, dialogue, justice, and peace, and communications. During our ad libina visit in 2014, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference brought to the attention of the Pope some challenges facing the church in Ghana that called for a renewed evangelization. They include materialism, secularism, individualism, and moral decadence, most of which are a result of influence of Western cultural practices and values and philosophy. So the challenges of the Western values on morality and faith promotion in our province and the church in Ghana. Though Western culture is a broad term used to describe the social norms, belief systems, traditions, customs, and values that have their origin in Europe and North American cultures. These values and ideas have merged with the life and thinking of Africans since the first contacts of the two cultures. By advertence and inadvertence, the West has influenced and continues to affect the African way of life without a corresponding influence of the African culture on the former. To infect others with their culture, the West has used the medium of the slave trade, formal education, colonization and neo-colonization, the media, Western democracy, even Christianity growth in Western culture, capitalism, and the so-called human rights and scientific thinking to transmit, or as a medium for the transmission of their culture. At the root of the Western culture is individualism, minimalism, hedonism, postmodernism, relativism, call it. Now, these philosophies and worldview of the West have unmeasured influence on the morality and the faith training and practices in the church in Ghana more than we think they are. The mention of a few will suffice. Let's take individualism. In the Western world, when someone is faced with a decision, the dominant question is, what is in it for me? Now, this question is based on an ultimate concern for self and not love or concern for neighbor. The fruits of individualism are greed, selfishness, and exploitation. As it is expected, these attitudes are common in our parishes, more than we think they are. They are common in our offices, in our families, and societies. You know, many people you find in the church, many attend church, not for love of God and neighbor, but for all you know, because of what they will get. When people are given positions of service in the church, as Jesus demands, they think first about what is in the position for themselves. At least many people. They ask and answer the question, what is in it for me? I had a case, president of the cathedral in Sudan, and he's deceased since then. And he was the regional manager of Catholic education. The government had given the bungalow to the regional manager, to the diocese, for the regional manager's use. He was the third to occupy the bungalow. Somewhere along the line, the government or the regional administration decided to put out these houses for sale. So the first people to be contacted were those who were staying in the house. And this president, regional manager, when he got that information, the best thing was to come and say, Bishop, this is the situation. So the diocese should buy it. He didn't do that. He put in his name, got the house for himself. So when I asked him, why did you do that? His answer was, Bishop, I've been in the church for so many years, I've not gotten anything. So when this thing came, I thought that was my share. Now, that is the individualism I'm talking about. You may think you won't see it, you can't touch it, but look very, very carefully about your congregation. Is it love of God, love of neighbor, love of church? What is going on? Search and find, because if we do not, we'll be scratching the surface. Some of our youth in our tertiary educational institutions, they fellow with sects where their breakfast or transport is guaranteed. You ask the vice chancellor, he will tell you. Where they will get a spouse or are promised, even if falsely, that they will prosper. Individualism or selfishness leads to, I don't know if it is here, but we call something called Sakawa, where some people, even Christians, are prepared to take human life to become rich. You might have observed that the spirit of service and sacrifice that characterized the early missionaries, the first indigenous priests and religious and lay faithful has reduced significantly. You will realize that more and more priests, religious, and many lay faithful seek what is in the church for themselves and not what they can give to the church. In the spirit of individualism, the life of church and labor becomes secondary. This challenge calls my brothers and sisters for a renewed missionary discipleship, a new catechetical formation in the church. The other one is hedonism. This Western idea asserts that pleasure is the supreme. It places pleasure as the ultimate aim and goal of life. The motto of this view is that if it feels good, do it. It is good for me, therefore it is right. Now, hedonism has produced and is producing lazy, lustful, and gluttonous people in our society and in the church. Hedonism is not an expression of freedom, but a license of self-enslavement to inordinate pleasures such as the abuse of hard and dangerous drugs. Sexual revolution in the West has given birth to pornography, sexual promiscuity, the LGBTQI, all in their pursuit of pleasure. And who tells me the congregation you are preaching to, some of them are not victims of this? You can't see it, you can't touch it, sometimes you may not know it, but the fact is these things are there, they are sitting in the congregation. Do we not have to have new evangelization to remind them, to teach them? It is important to observe that our congregations on Sundays now includes people with these orientations. The challenge is for the church to acknowledge these and have a renewed catechetical formation that puts these on the right track. The other thing is minimalism. Minimalism is what is the least I can do? Not to love with all my heart, mind, and soul. Not to lay down one's life for one's friends. A minimalist is always seeking to exert the minimum effort and receive the maximum reward. And this idea is the enemy of excellence and the father of mediocrity. It is a philosophical disease that is wounding our age. People want to do the least and still secure their job. They want to study little and still get first class. That is why they cheat. Married men and women want to do the least and still keep their marriages alive. Individuals want to do the least and get rich overnight. When public servants and politicians take more than their salaries, they are being minimalistic. They are being influenced consciously or unconsciously by this philosophy. When parish priests and religious and lay faithful do only the minimum and teach little, evangelize little, empower little, care less, and still expect the church to succeed in its mission, when they lose the vim, the enthusiasm of the early missionaries, then we are being minimalistic, just maintaining what is there without growing it. The minimalistic attitude in society and in our dioceses need a reversal. and a renewed missionary discipleship. Let me talk about something we all call human rights. See, this concept is being abused and used wrongly. People see human rights as the freedom to do whatever pleases them. When the United Nations and the European Union declare certain rights, especially the rights that are against gospel values, it does not mean that Catholics are obliged to insist on those rights or to claim those rights. In the name of human rights, abortion is promoted. And how often do the priests even speak about abortion? Contraceptives are in abundance. How is the priest evangelizing this? Human cloning, that it belongs to the science section, is not very clear now. But these are in the West. They can get here very, very soon. Now, young people beyond a certain age have rights to disobey or dishonor their parents and elders on the basis of human rights. You know, in the United States, students can kill the teacher. They can slap the teacher. They can do this, but they are never held responsible. But the parent cannot be punished. A few people have placed premium on the ethical or moral implications of their decisions and actions. Some Catholic marriages fail because of the overemphasis on "it is my right." What the European Union and the United Nations is telling them is marriage, is right, is equality. We bring this into Christianity, into the Catholic Church, and we forget that what Christ teaches is marriage is a contract of love and not of rights. And how easily many of our marriages are going for the United Nations teaching marriage as rights. Now, our dioceses, through a renewed missionary discipleship and a formidable catechetical formation, needs to teach the values of God in contradistinction from the human values of the United Nations and governments. You know, we can go ahead and talk about these Western philosophies, relativism, tyranny of relativism, who Benedict calls it. We can talk of the deconstructionist philosophy. These are people we are ministering to may not understand this, but they live the implications. To destroy society, dismantle customs, structures, and rebuild it according to what the world wants. This is not to say that all Western cultural values are negative. There are indeed many positive aspects that have enriched our culture and faith. The challenge is our society does not have the moral sieve to sift out the dregs from becoming part of our culture. In consequence, people have a hard time differentiating negative values from the positive values. And this is the big challenge. Because the government says it, because the UN says it, Christians and Catholics tend to think, therefore, it's acceptable, forgetting what Jesus is teaching. And that is a very big, delicate challenge. We have copied and have lived these Western values, fundamental values, that are at variance with the Christian faith. In a similar vein, you must acknowledge that some of our African cultural values pose significant challenges to the faith training and practices. said chairperson, the African asks a question, we are told, why? And science answers the question, how? Science does not answer the question that the African asks. We are told by the anthropologists that African, we ask, why was I bitten by the snake and why did I die? Then science will explain how he died. Of course, the African knows how he died. He knows that the snake is poisonous, and the poison gets into the bloodstream, some chemical reaction, no more blood, and then the person dies. The African knows that. That is why they have remedies for snake bites. But we are told the question is, why? Why was I bitten? Not how did I die? But why did I die? Now, because science does not answer this question, and our religion, Catholic religion, our catechism, our formation has failed to address this particular area, which is existential, which is real to the African. This question and the lack of answers to the question, why? This generates fear, generates suspicion in the African, and it leads the African to the African metaphysical world of spiritual forces, good and evil, and they keep searching for answers to their existential realities. Now, this African worldview and the fact that the church does not seem to address this existential reality, this casts a slur on our faith as Christians who believe that Christ has overcome all. Let's ask, how has our catechetical formation, the Catholic teaching, addressed this aspect of our world? I believe we have not done enough. If we are talking of a new evangelization, the new missionary area, this is a particular area we should not just brush aside. We should not pretend we are not there. Rather, we need to move into this area. African Christians, Catholics inclusive, tend to resort to the metaphysical realm of juju, of curses, of witchcraft, to address challenges in their everyday living, and they are asking a scientific, theological, reasonable question. Many Africans think that the Christian God is slow in the administration of justice. Instead of relying on the Christian God, some Africans, Christians, even African academics, you will see university professors who are teaching physical sciences, atomic physics. Politicians, you know, they resort to powers in the African metaphysical world to protect themselves. You have heard some of these in parliament, in government, in universities, etc. They use these political positions, businesses, their families, farming activities, etc. Some believe and subject themselves to other negative cultural practices, such as unacceptable widow rights, forced marriages, witch camp, etc. There have been instances of few priests and religious who, in spite of their study and practice of theology over many years, and the scrutiny of the Bible, some resort to very dire moments to the African beliefs and practices instead of the Christian ones. Now, this shows how strong our culture is, and the fact that our catechesis is not addressing sufficiently certain existential issues in the life of the people that we are living. We brush them aside. My brother, priests and sisters, know when we are talking philosophically, logically, we tend to think we don't believe in these things, but you know that it is not true. You get them off guard. The normal, everyday existential realities, and you will see that there is not much difference. The metaphysical world of the spiritual powers and the cultural practices is a real challenge to the church. But it can be harnessed for the promotion of the Christian faith. Christianity has not succeeded yet, because the Christian message has been presented in the clothing of the European culture. I believe we will not make steady progress in evangelization until we extricate the European culture from the Christian message and make conscious effort to insert the Christian message into the African culture. By so doing, we will not be doing anything new, since such enculturation abounds in the New Testament. And from by 100 AD, we are told that the New Testament was complete. And you read it, and you see the many enculturation as the faith moved from Jerusalem to the Greco-Roman world, using the Greco-Roman culture. We have been very slow, too slow. And I believe that our enculturation of the Christian faith is still superficial. In spite of all the talks and the studies, we are still only, if even we are doing it at all, only scratching the surface and moving too slowly. I think even we have stopped. And because we are not moving as we should. We are overcautious when it comes to enculturation, fearing that you may make mistakes. Now, continuous research and study of our culture to identify its enduring influence on the Christian faith needs to be intensified, because the African Catholic Christian is astride two faiths and two cultural systems. The church has the duty to deepen the faith of her members, not just brush over things, to really make the faith part of the culture. She needs to speak and use the language and culture of the people to make the message meaningful and credible and relevant to everyday living. If a huge section of the African's life, like this metaphysical world and these questions, are not being addressed, then there is something fundamentally wrong, and we may be only scratching the surface. The inability to use our culture as medium for the transmission of the Christian faith creates the challenge of the relationship between faith and life, and between conversion and Christian living. We tend to live in two worlds and have two belief systems, cultural beliefs and Christian beliefs. This situation calls for a new missionary discipleship and a catechetical formation that should evolve an African Christian culture. The exodus from our congregations, from the church to the Pentecostals and other evangelists could be partly attributed to these sects' attempts, even if falsely and wrongly, to address the existential fears, anxieties, and suspicions entailed in the African culture and belief systems. Another challenge is the challenge of dwindling numbers. In 2014, there were more than 10,000 faith-based groups or sects in Ghana. 10,000, according to some sources. The Catholic Church in Ghana has done a lot, but some statistics should remind us that there is need for a renewed missionary discipleship and catechetical formation. If we don't look at it, you may think we are doing well, but a very careful study will show that things are not as good as we think they are. There is the need for a new missionary discipleship and catechetical formation in the church in Ghana to arrest the declining membership. In the 2010 population census of Ghana, when Ghana's population was almost 25 million, 71% of the people said they were Christians. Out of the number, the Catholic population was put at 13.1%. Significantly, this shows a 2% drop from the previous 15.1% in the year 2000. So within 14 years, our share of Ghana's population had dropped from 15.1% to 13.1%. 2% might sound insignificant, but mathematically, it's a huge number. And Jesus said, let none be lost. And it's a big loss to the church. The dwindling percentage suggests that we are not reaching all corners of our country, all corners of our diocese. We are not reaching all the villages. Probably priests, catechists, lay faithful have become complacent and think falsely that our number is okay. At our last National Pastoral Congress in Sudan in 2014, Professor Awosabo Asad, the population geographer, reminded us when he has done this analysis and put before us two methods of evangelization: the shepherd's approach and the fisherman's approach of evangelization. You know, the shepherd only waits for natural increase. When the cow or the sheep or the goats give birth, then the number increases. It just sits there. But the fisherman he catches 100 fish today, tomorrow he will go for more. He will go for more. So the fisherman is always adding more pieces of fish. But the shepherd, natural increase. And that seems to be the attitude of priests and agents of evangelization, just waiting for the church to go without going to search for more. And that method of evangelization should be changed, should be renewed, and should be invigorated to have a new and a better approach. Unfortunately, I was looking at the statistics, and this is what I found. The source is Bishop's blog. It's a source that gives an approximation of Catholics. In Yendi diocese, I'm talking of the diocese, in 2014, 1.7% of the population, the entire population in Yendi were Catholics. Very happily, in 2017, it's 5.3%. That is a very good growth. In Wa diocese, in 2014, it was 41.4%. In 2017, it's 43.8%. Very good growth. Increase. Now, when you compare 43.8% to the national average of 13.1%, then you see very significant growth. Damango, in 2014, it was 5% of the population. In 2017, it is 7.9%. In Nagrongo, Bolga, Tanga diocese, it was 19.5% in 2014. In 2014. In 2017, it is 19.9%. Very significant growth. So, in the dioceses in the Tamale Ecclesiastical Province, which one have I not mentioned? Archdiocese of Tamale. I don't know why I didn't put Archdiocese of Tamale, but I have it somewhere. Yes, Archdiocese of Tamale. In 2014, according to this source, we had 1.9%. In 2017, we have 2.5%. So that is good. So, in all these areas, you will still see that we have a lot of work to do, even though we are growing positively. The numbers, probably yes, but what do the people believe and how attached are they to the faith? So we also have a challenge. Another challenge is the challenge of plurality of faiths and multiplicity of Christian conversions and Islam. You know, the Pentecostals and the Evangelicals have embarked on an aggressive evangelization. You will see that everywhere. They are attracting many, and many of them Catholic youths into their fold. And we are steadily losing membership, even as we grow in numbers. See, in absolute terms, our numbers are growing, but our share of the population is not growing. If it were to remain steady or to increase, then yes, we will be positive. But that is not the case. You know, these religions wage a consistent campaign of presence and conversion of young men and women from the Catholic fold into their faith, sometimes through marriage in some areas. Conversions are promoted in the marketplace, everywhere. You see them, every corner. Through front house doors, stores, on campuses of universities and institutions of higher learning. Now, we must not lose sight of these dynamics, and we should not do business as usual. We should sit up and have a renewed mission, a renewed evangelization. Otherwise, we could be taken by surprise. Let me talk about the place and role of the Catholic Church in public life, including politics. It's a challenge. There are still issues of injustice against human beings created in God's image. There are injustices towards creation, as the Archbishop said we contemplated on 2 years ago. Migration, poverty, illiteracy, conflicts, and threats of terrorists in neighboring countries. Our animals, forests, and water bodies are sometimes handled unjustly, unfairly. The Archbishops spoke on that. Conflicts within this province and outside this province mars the beauty of the church that sees herself and proclaims the church to be a family of God. We have to ask questions and answer them using the scriptures. And as we answer, we use our catechesis to answer this question, to form the people accordingly. How can we overcome the divisions in our towns, in our societies, and in our churches? Do we really understand that in Jesus Christ, tribalism, ethnocentrism, color, race, etc. have no place? How can we handle marriage and family life appropriately? What should we do to overcome our social and political difficulties? How do we stop the practice of the witch camps? See, if people are not formed with the knowledge and the Christian philosophy that counteracts these, you can't blame them for getting involved. So this is where our catechesis and our formation and our evangelization should give people the reasons, the basis, the philosophy of why they should move from this. Without that, we can't make much progress. Another challenge, the Catholic youth and challenges of the new religious movements. I've touched on it briefly. It is held that the youth form about 65% of the church communities. The church should therefore be youthful in every aspect of its existence, its experience and expectations. One big challenge of the Catholic Church in Ghana is the exodus of the youth to emerging Pentecostal and charismatic denominations. In our poverty, the preaching of prosperity gospel seems to catch the attention of many Ghanaians, including young Catholics. They desire to get rich overnight. Accordingly, some of the youth have rejected the idea of taking up courses and following Jesus. In their bid to get rich, they fail to critically analyze what they are promised and tend to believe whatever they are told by so-called prophets concerning their future lives, family, and friends. On some occasions, our youth have been made to believe that a parent, usually the old mother, in need of love and care at her old age, is the reason for their suffering a pain. These youth are baptized, confirmed, supposedly have learned the Catholic catechism, and know what Jesus teaches. So why has it been going back? Perhaps the worldview, the African worldview, has not been evangelized enough. The challenge of the social media and the youth. Nowadays, it is very common to find Catholics, most often the youth, uploading short videos of so-called men of God on their WhatsApp status, or sharing them through WhatsApps or Facebooks, etc. Now, this is gradually becoming a norm. That is a betrayal of the Catholic faith. When the youth, instead of giving the homilies that the priest gives, is rather sending the messages that Ubinim or who, or Bosfor or Ojaba or. Now, one bishop told us that one of these ministers is called Pastor AK-47. And you see, when you find out that they are uploading messages from these Catholics use, and not a quotation from the Catholic catechism or a homily that the bishop had, these people repeatedly. It's a matter of concern. Let's look at these things which are intangible but very real, these dynamics at work. You see, when a Catholic returns home after work and decides to turn on the television set to see a spiritual program or a multi-TV, etc., he is greeted with the so-called pastors or the spiritual groups teaching different things. I would like to think that if we had a Catholic channel, the Catholic would prefer it to other channels. Here, we have radio, community radio stations in Damango, in Wa, in Nabungo, Bongatanga. Yes, Tamale, not yet. Yes. So at least these are there, but we see there are now various things. With the television and other social media, the youth are no longer limited to only what he hears on the radio or the preachers on Sunday. In fact, all other preachers on the TV and on social media manage to get their messages to the youth by the marvels of modern communication systems. So you are not the only person forming the people. The priests, you are not the only ones. They are being bombarded with this. So if they do not get a very solid formation, which will be their reference point to compare new things that they hear, they are likely to take anything that they hear because they may be empty and have not been given verified facts and the proper articles of faith. As the national chairman of TEPPCO and the bishop in charge of social communication, I know that we are working towards this goal, but we have been slowed down by money. Who is ready to support the worthy cause? Once again, if Catholics have been formed to know the value of the word of God, many of the rich will be willing to give to the vote base. And yet we are are sweating profusely. We appeal. Our appeals have not yet received responses. But go to Obini. You see him on the television. We hear the Methodists, pastors, the Presbyterians, the this, the that. Can you really question why? The basis all goes to the formation. What have we taught? How convinced? And if they were convinced, don't you think they would, as the Methodists, as the Presbyterian, as this, have been convinced and willingly, freely, they are able to give because they are convinced of their faith. Think about it. These are very serious issues which borders on our evangelization and the formation, which I believe we should renew as you rightly have chosen the theme. The youth and spiritual hunger. You see, it's a challenge. Gradually, the essence and beauty of meditative and contemplative prayers are being lost. Some youth are being made to think that oral prayer is more powerful than other forms of prayer. Sometimes they think it is by making noise or shouting that will compel God to answer their prayers. Now, formation, priests, catechists, sisters, brothers. Do they know what they are doing? If you go to the Archbishop or to the Pope and you want something, what will be the manner? What will be your demeanor? What will be the approach to ask the Archbishop, Archbishop, we need money for church roof, or for school, or for this. Can you help us? Now, if you know what you are really doing, will you come and stand before the Archbishop, give me this, and Archbishop, give me that, give me that? If you cannot talk before the Archbishop that manner, do you think you should have that same approach towards God? Are we aware? Are the youth or these people aware of what they are doing that they call what? Prayer. If it is praise, probably yes. That's a prayer of petition and those things. We should know, we should teach kids. Now gradually, as I said, such people believe some of the youth, they have charisms and they should be made to operate in the church. They should be allowed. Some of them end up leaving the church because they say the church has not permitted them to minister as they wish. And just 3 weeks ago, I had a case like that in my diocese, where one person told the priest that he wants to learn the Bible, and the priest didn't take him seriously. He said, okay, you can go. So he went to one of these evangelical schools, a Catholic, and at the end of it, they graduated him. So they ordained him. So he came back with his course, telling the priest that he's finished the course that he told him was going to do, and should allow him to work. And the priest said, we don't do that. So he left and has founded his church. Now, some of them end up leaving the church. Unfortunately, some of our innocent but ignorant youth fall into the hands of these religious movements while they are in schools, especially the senior high schools, the colleges, and please, in the universities. This situation compels us to pay special attention to school apostolate and evangelization, especially in non-Catholic schools. The many challenges mentioned above, including the youth, calls for more than an ordinary evangelization effort. Indeed, it calls for a renewed missionary discipleship and a catechetical formation. So what is this renewed missionary discipleship and catechetical formation? The way forward. Making catechesis serve evangelization as lasting conversions is the way forward. The challenge facing the church in Ghana are formidable, but equally compelling are the reasons for a new evangelization or an ongoing evangelization characterized by some new zeal, method, dynamism, seriousness, and commitment. In that pastoral context as Ghana, and with this new zeal and dynamism, our new method should, based on this program, the new method should operationalize evangelization as importunation. We should operationalize evangelization as a proclamation. We should operationalize evangelization as a dialogue. We should operationalize evangelization as justice. We should operationalize evangelization as peace. We should operationalize evangelization as communication in the Catholic Church today. In the midst of world-pervading despair due to socio-economic and cultural challenges, the question has been, how is the Christian message good news for our brothers and sisters? For the Catholic Church to fulfill its divine mandate adequately, it is important that we hold on strongly to the faith of our fathers. One of the marks of the church is that she's apostolic.